Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Coltrane Conservatory the Arts Talk Show. My name is Joe Pace III, and we're going to be with you for the next half hour. Today we're going to be discussing visualization. We'd like for you to get a pencil and paper and write some of these things down, because we're going to be talking about things that can really enhance the quality of your life. If you can just get 10 or 15% of this, it surely is going to drive your life forward. Now, we are a music school, and those of you who would be interested in getting more information regarding our music school, you may call this number here you see on the screen, 312-738-1060, or you may call 708-507-0095. And when you call that number, if no one picks up, just leave your name and phone number and a brief message, and we'll get right back to you. Okay, so we're going to get right into it because we don't have much time. And like I said, if you can just get 10 or 15% of this to stick and try it out, you'll find that your life will be a whole lot better. So we're going to get going right now, and I'm going to show you a few things here as we get going. Now you see that list of things on your screen there. The first one is visualization. Well, ladies and gentlemen, visualization is seeing and feeling yourself in your own mind already being, doing, and having the good that you desire. Let me say that again. Visualization is seeing, feeling yourself in your own mind already being, doing, and having the good that you desire. Now, seeing and feeling. Most of us know what it is to see something, you know. But what we want you to do is to try to feel yourself in being, doing, and having the things that you would like to have. Okay, now, here's the one thing I want to remind you about visualization. Visualization, though it sounds easy, it's not quite as easy as it sounds. You can imagine things and they just don't seem to formalize some sort of, or formate, I should say, some sort of picture in your mind. And what I want you to do now is I want you to get to where you're going to be visualizing and feeling the actual experience of what you're visualizing. Let me give you an example. For example, let's say you wanted a big, nice home with maybe 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms and big den and living room and dining room and kitchen and all of these wonderful things in a big house. Let's say something like a mansion. That sort of sounds like a mansion, doesn't it? And let's say you wanted that, okay? And you want that real badly. And you want to equip it with all of the things that a house like that should have, which would be maybe even a butler, maybe a cook, maybe a cleaning person. All of these things you want, and you want in your garage, maybe you want a Rolls Royce, maybe you want a BMW, you may want something like a Lincoln Navigator or something of that type. But whatever you want, I want you to imagine, and because visualizing has a degree of imagination to it. In fact, a large degree of imagination is in visualization. And so what you want to do is get that feeling that this is actually going on. This is happening. And ladies and gentlemen, when you start to visualize like that, it's almost like daydreaming. I'm going to use that because visualization is a sort of a daydreaming. Now, we don't want to use a negative connotation when people say daydreaming. Sometimes there's a negative connotation with it. But we want to be sure that our imagination is focused on those things that we want in our life. So right now, if you were thinking about a mansion that you would like to have, or whatever your dream is, I'm just giving this as an example. But let's say right now, we're going to use this right now because most people want a big, beautiful home. They want beautiful cars. They want beautiful furniture. They want somebody else to do their cleaning. They want somebody else to do their cooking. Oh yeah, most people would like to have that. And so since most of us would like to have that, we're going to use that as an example. Now, if you think about that enough, think about this beautiful mansion with this beautiful dining room and living room and dens and game rooms and this 4 or 5 car garage and people, butlers and cooks and others who are doing all the work in this home, and you're sitting there enjoying every bit of it. Let's say you're in your library and you're reading a book, or you're in your TV room and you're watching your favorite show, and you want something to eat, and you ring a bell and tell the butler or somebody, I'd like to have lobster and steak for dinner, and I'd like to have a big ice glass of lemonade. I'd also like to have this all at 5:30 because by then my favorite television show will be going on off and I'll be able to come to dinner. And I want it all piping hot. And just let me know when it's all done, or I'll be there at the dining room table at 5:30. And all the bills are paid. You're not worried about paying any of these people. You're happy to have them working for you because you're paying them good salaries. They have good fringe benefits. You have lots of money in the bank. You are not worrying about money because you know that money starts off in your mind, and your mind is set free because you know that single source of all things has an infinite amount of wealth, an unlimited amount of wealth, and because you are a son or daughter of this supreme being, you know that you too own all of these things. You are co-owners of all of these things. And so you're sitting there and you're not worried about money because you know how money works. You can smell money. You can feel money. You can see money. You are money. And so you're not worried about it, you know. And so if you can just get this feeling, the more you get this feeling, the more you do this, the more you're going to be attracted to this infinite source of material wealth. And so many things are happening nowadays, folks, that are related, so many problems are related to the lack of money. I mean, marriages are now 50% going bad. And from what I understand, 80% of it is due to financial problems. So the first thing that you probably want to start to visualize, if not one of the first things certainly, is how do I get more money? And you can actually imagine and visualize money. If you've ever gone to the bank and you see a stack of $100 bills like most of us have done, then take a picture of that in your mind, or just take your phone out and take a picture of it. There's no law against that, okay? And every once in a while, every day in fact, twice a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, look at that money and imagine that this money is in your bank account. And I mean, do it to where it is real. Most of us have fantasized about something. And again, I'm only using these words because they are great words to use, although they bring with them in some contexts a negative connotation. But we're using them in a positive way. Okay, we're using them in a positive way. So we want you to fantasize about money, fantasize about being rich, fantasize about having butlers and cooks and chauffeurs. Fantasize about all of these things and let them just run through your mind, you know. Think about them all the time. Let and see and draw pictures of them in your mind. Let them be picturized right in your mind and see yourself in the middle of it, all of it, with gold and diamonds and all the wonderful things that you could ever want. If you can do this, and you can do this continuously on a daily basis, pretty soon all of these fantasies and whatnot, all of these visualizations will begin to materialize in your life. You said, sir, how do you know this? Because everybody who's got something has done this. Everyone who has tons of money, tons of beautiful, lots of beautiful cars and big mansions and other wonderful things that are able to take vacations in exotic areas, and every one of those people has done what I'm telling you to do. And if you don't believe it, Google them online or find a book and read about them. Everybody from Oprah Winfrey to Steve Harvey to Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, all of these people have done exactly what I'm telling you to do. This is how you draw money to you. This is the way that you draw to money, through visualization. Now we're going to keep on going. I really got into that, didn't I? Here we go. Now, the next thing is you need a goal, okay? You have to decide on something. What is it? What is the first thing that I really want in my life? You see, in other words, you have to decide what you desire. You have to decide exactly what it is that you want. And that means that you have to have a goal. You have to have goals. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a goal is something that you hold in your heart as being something very special that you would like to happen in your life. That is a goal. And we're only talking about positive things. We won't go into anything else. But that's a goal. Now, when you set a goal, you must then put a plan together in order to accomplish that goal. There's no such thing as saying, there's no such reality, I should say, in a person saying, okay, I want this, that, and the other, and just, I think I'll pray about it. I think I'll visualize about it. I think I'll fantasize about it. Guess what? It's just not going to materialize. It's not going to be realized in your life. Because everything that we want in our life must have some plan of action to it. There's no such thing as a goal being accomplished without action. We must apply action. That's the only way that we're ever going to get anything out of it. And let me just stop for a second, because what happens here to many of us is when we take off, when we decide on something, a goal, and we put together a plan, we run into problems. And this is a natural occurrence. It's always going to be some difficulties in anything that we're trying to accomplish of value. Always. If it's easy, it has no value whatsoever in most cases. So there's always going to be a challenge before us. the reward comes once we decide that we're going to take the challenge on and we're not going to be defeated by it. Sometimes we have to change plans. If we're doing something and we're going in one direction and it's not working, there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, let me try this, that, or the other. But to say, oh, well, it's not going to work, that's a cop-out. That's a defeatist attitude. And there's only two ways in life: winning or losing. There is no in between. And the last thing we want to do is get to the very end of our life. And somebody said, as we are lying there ready to pass on into some other world, that all of these wonderful things that we wanted to do are staring at us with big open eyes, accusing us of having let them down, and saying, if only you had a little more faith and determination, we could have been realized. So this type of regret nobody wants to have. All of us want to be able to pass out of this world after having provided the very best that we could in it, to leave it a better place. Every one of us wants that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, don't be discouraged when you run into problems with your goals. Just keep on visualizing and keep on taking action, little by little. Most time, if we would just do a little something every day towards some goal that we want to accomplish, at the end of a few months, at the end of a year, sometimes a little bit later, we find that we've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. So let's not be discouraged by any obstacles or challenges along the way. Now we're going to go back to our list. Persistence. I think we just really kind of talked about that within the context of talking about the goals. See yourself as you wish to be. We talked about that a few minutes ago a little bit too. But when you say see yourself as you wish to be, visualize yourself as having the best, doing the best, and being the best, See yourself as you wish to be. Somebody said that we have to start to act like the individual that we want to be in life. We have to put on that persona. I remember somebody saying, I don't know who it was, what actor it was, but there was an actor, I don't think he's with us any longer, but he said that he himself played a role, I believe it was a television role, some role where that was individual had a very nice life and presented himself well in this role. He said he played that role so long on television that he became that person. He became that wonderful person, And so, this kind of points to what happens when we start to see ourselves as we wish to be. When we start acting out those beautiful roles and actually honoring our own life by only accepting the best. Only accepting the best. Just the other day I was in an area and there were some people who were carrying on a lot of foolishness, cursing and clowning, how people do sometimes. And, that kind of stuff can actually drag on your consciousness. It pulls you into a negative zone, so to speak, when somebody comes into your environment and starts to use a lot of strong language and they're angry, it really just darkens the whole environment for the time that they're there. And I had to get out of that environment right away because I just didn't want to be bothered with that. So don't be in company with people who are carrying on a lot of foolishness and using a lot of strong language and acting in ways in which a human being should never act or behave. You don't want that to rub off on you. You don't want that in your subconscious mind. We talked about the fact that we have two minds. And one is conscious mind, which is the choices and the mind that makes decisions, and then the other is a subconscious mind, and that's the mind that receives these decisions and receives these concepts and ideals that we bring into our conscious mind. And so you don't want that type of crap in your subconscious mind, because what it's doing, it's murking up things and preventing that smooth flow of your benefits from coming into your life. And so be careful about even the television programming that you watch, or the radios, or the kind of music and the lyrics that you listen to. If the words are filled with disgrace and disrespect, don't listen to music like that. You might say it's only music, but you allow it to go into your subconscious mind by accepting it like that, and it can cause a lot of problems in our life, ladies and gentlemen. So be very careful about the thing. Be very careful about the stuff you even read, okay? I try to read all the time something that's going to lift me up, especially in a world that we're living in on today. Something that's going to brighten my day, going to keep me going, going to keep me lifted. You start reading and listening to it. I listen to tapes and stuff all the time, sometimes 2 or 3 hours a day. Tapes by Les Brown, tapes by a fellow by the name of Bob Proctor, and James Williams, and James Allen, and Williams James, I should say. And all of these are people who are speaking about how to live a better life on this earth. And one of my favorites is Frederick J. Icarin Coetter. Sometimes, some of you may recall him as the Reverend Ike. And he actually is a pioneer of these kinds of things, this kind of teaching. He's a pioneer, but he was doing it way back in the 70s. Now everybody is doing it, and it's okay. When he was doing it back in the 70s, he was being criticized by the preachers and the politicians. Everybody was critical of him. But now everybody is teaching exactly what he taught way back there. And I am such a fan of his, because I started listening to him back in those days, and I knew that man was right on time with the truth. And so he's one of my favorites, and I listen to him just about every day. But okay, let's go on a little bit further. We only got a few more minutes left, and I want you to get everything that you can out of this. And I would suggest to you to get tapes and read. And because the more you read, the more you listen, the more these things are going to embrace your subconscious mind, and they're going to become a part of your habit. You'll be a brand new paradigm, because everything we do it from habit, and you want your habits to be like this. Never doubt yourself. Number 5, okay. And we're gonna take 5 and 6 at the same time, because we're gonna be running out of time in just a minute. Never doubt yourself. Doubt is a negative motivation, and it comes from some place that you don't want to. We're not going to talk about that. And know that this amazing power in you is limitless. And then finally, number 7. And you got to know that, because this power, the power that's in you, ladies and gentlemen, the power that's in you is actually the power that's in the universe. This supreme power, this one source, this thing that you refer to as being a supreme being, this is the one power that you are a part of. And what I'm trying to do here is to help you to understand how to use this power. We all have it. The problem is very few people know how to use it. Even people sitting up in churches don't know how to use it and have been there for many years. They have no idea what a lot of these things mean that they're reading. All through these books, they talk about prosperity. All through all of these books. But people don't know and understand what they're saying when they're talking about prosperity. They talk about the power that we've been given. So know that this amazing power in you is limitless. Somebody said, all these things you see me do, you too can do, and even greater. That's telling you that you got this power in your life too. My. Now, maintain a positive mental attitude. None of this is going to work if you don't have a positive mental attitude. If you're carrying a lot of foolishness, and I don't mean, see, what happens is a lot of people will conduct themselves outwardly in a decent manner, in a very decent manner. But on the inside of their mind, it's a lot of stuff going on. You can't fool the universe. You have to train yourself to stop in your tracks when you start to carry on a lot of foolishness about other people and other things that you know are wrong. You have to stop yourself, because what we're doing when we do that is we're crowding up and clogging that subconscious mind, preventing whatever benefits we have coming into our life from reaching realization. So we have to stop those things in their tracks. We cannot afford to allow ourselves, and that happens a lot of times. The things that we do, now, I want you to check out one thing, and check this out right here, that compare the way you behave around other people in the external world and how you behave in your inner consciousness. Compare those two things, and you're probably going to come up with some differences. And what you want to do is clean those thoughts up in your mind. Okay, we're going to leave it right there on the day, ladies and gentlemen. We're so happy that you came by to be with us for a while. And we hope that you come back next week. We will be back here next week, and we'll pick up this conversation once again. I hope that you learned something. And once again, thank you for joining us.